Hey everybody, Joe here with Candid at the Movies. This time I will be talking to you all about my 2023 list of top 10 movies. 2023 was an interesting year for movies overall, and I'm going to go ahead and give you my top 10. There might be some weird ones in there, but all of them I think are worth at least checking out. So for number 10, it will be the animated film on Netflix called Nimona, starring Chloe Grace Moretz. It's a beautifully animated film with a message that made me feel something that was just amazing. You know, empathy, and dealing with people based off of like what people might think about you based off of the outside. And, you got to be careful with who you call a monster. That's kind of the vibe that I got off of it. I think that it's worth a watch, and actually watching it with your family will be a good idea. Now for number 9, I actually have a tie. I try not to have any ties, but there were so many movies that came out this year that there had to be at least one. So the first one will be Mission Impossible, starring Tom Cruise. And the other one would be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, starring Shameik Moore. Now, this Mission Impossible was basically like a blast from the past. It took me back. I saw a lot of old faces. There was all the action and adventure and spy stuff that I just love in movies. And I truly, truly, truly enjoyed it. I think I went back to go see it twice as well. So yeah, it's just one that you got to watch over and over again, in my opinion. And for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I mean, come on, it's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man, Miles Morales. You got Peter in there, but you had like hundreds and hundreds of other cameos and Easter eggs, and it just took me back to the days of my youth. And the comic books that I read and the cartoons that I watched and the games that I've played. If you all have not played Spider-Man on PS5, especially Spider-Man 2, I don't know what's stopping you aside from not having a PlayStation. Like, that game is amazing. But anyway, this movie really blew my mind. It really was amazing. And I think that the only thing that disappointed me was the ending, but I figured that there was going to be a cliffhanger because they're coming up with another movie afterward. Number 8, Beau is Afraid, starring Joaquin Phoenix. Listen, I know this one might get me a little bit of, like, are you really? Like, this is another movie that I had to watch. I watched it 3 times because it's like a psychological type of deal. It makes you think, it makes you feel things that you might not even be comfortable with. There's a particular song that is ruined for me for life because of this movie. But I feel like, you kind of get in the head of Joaquin Phoenix, who really embodied the main character for this role. And the way that it was shot, you have to really pay attention to the cinematography in order for it to make a lot of sense to you. To me, this movie is just art. Okay? It's A24, and they did their thing. For number 7, The Marsh King's Daughter, starring Daisy Ridley. Listen, this movie was, from what I heard from one of the commenters when I did the review for this movie, was actually a book. I had no idea that it was based off of a book. But the plot, where it was shot, it was just beautiful. It was like Upper Peninsula, Michigan, beautiful in the fall and everything like that. This was a tragic story though. I haven't read the book, so I don't know if the movie did the book justice. But just for a movie, I think that is one that you definitely should go and take a look at. Check it out. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Okay. And for number 6, actually, this is a recent release called The Color Purple, starring Fantasia. Now, this one is a musical rendition of the one that we're used to watching. Of course, The Color Purple is a book, but the first movie was not a musical. This movie is based off of the Broadway play. So you actually get a little bit more of what you see in the book happening in this musical. And I mean, the singers, just singers galore, okay? Everybody embodied their characters well. The acting was really good. I think that the choreography was really good as well. The cinematography was pretty decent also. So, I mean, definitely check out Color Purple. This is one that will probably be going up for a lot of different awards in this coming Oscar season and Grammy season. I don't know about Tony's, but you know, I would expect it to see in every showcase, BET, NAACP, all of them. It should be in all of them. I think that even the costuming was just great. The costuming, the aging, the makeup, all of that was really good. And I know a lot of people are saying they don't like musicals, but I'm like, if you like music videos, you like musicals. You just don't want to admit to liking musicals. But anyway, number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy, starring Chris Pratt. This is a Marvel film, a Marvel release, and it's been a while since I've been able to say that a Marvel movie could make my list. Like Marvel for Marvel, not Sony Marvel, just Marvel straight up, because this was James Gunn's like final movie with Marvel, I think, at least. Hopefully not. Maybe one day when he's done with what he's doing with DC. But this movie made me feel something, especially as an animal person. I have 2 dogs. If I could, I would live on a farm with all the animals and bump all the humans. I would just live with all the animals. But it gave you a really good villain. Probably the first good villain that we've had in a while. One that was believable, but also hated. So, you know, every actor did really well. The CGI was good. The cinematography was good. The plot and the costuming, all of that was really good. For number 4, we have Barbie, starring Margot Robbie. I cannot believe that I am putting Barbie on my top 10 list. Some of you probably also can't believe it. Probably, but it was one of the best films of this year. Point blank period. It was one of the best films of this year. I know that it was getting a lot of slack from a lot of different individuals for what they thought it was, but then once they finally saw it, they were like, oh. So let me tell you like this. When it comes down to movies, books, and other forms of media, don't listen to what the opinions of everybody on the internet is. I mean, that's including me. Go check it out for yourself and then be the judge of it for yourself, because Barbie was a really good movie, plot wise, message wise. Let's see, it was a little preachy, but I didn't mind it, honestly. I mean, we get preached at sometimes from different things that we don't agree with, and if you don't like it, that's fine, but I liked it. For number 3, They Clone Tyrone, starring John Boyega. I watched this on Netflix, and I watched it again, and I watched it again, because again, it's not just the plot, it's the cinematography, it's the costuming, but there was an underlying message there, pretty much for the Black community, I think, and it resonated with me. Completely understood where they were coming from and what the director and writers were trying to say. And I think it might take at least one rewatch for you to get everything that that They Clone Tyrone was trying to say. Number 2, Leave the World Behind, starring Julia Roberts. Leave the World Behind was one of those apocalyptic types of movies where things happened where, you know, the United States was basically becoming defunct. but all of that was happening outside of what was happening in the movie. And I like the way that they did that, because it was like you didn't really know what was going on outside, because they were no longer in the city. They were out taking their own vacation and doing their own thing, trying to get away from it all. Um, and it kind of touches on the trust and bonds and like what kind of Americans we are and all that stuff. I truly enjoyed this movie, and I think that all of you will too. And lastly, last but not least, number one, we have Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy. Oppenheimer was filmed for IMAX. It is a history buff film. I don't know if y'all know who I am. Like, I'm a history buff. I'm a history nerd. Let me get my um, documentaries on. Let me get all of that stuff. And it really, since it was based on the actual making of a nuclear bomb, like the first nuclear bomb, and you kind of see like the fallout of it all. But not only that, you get some like great exposition. You get some great history. Albert Einstein kind of shows up in this one as well. And it's just a really good movie. It's a beautifully shot film. And yeah, I think y'all should go and check it out if you have not already. So let me know down in the comments below what you think your top 10 would be for 2023 movies. Again, I've been Joe with Candid at the Movies. Please click that like, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell. We appreciate you for all the love that you have given us over this past year. And 2024 is going to get even bigger and better. So we truly appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all have a good one. Have a fantastic day. Peace.